I pestered my good friend Frank Craven, who's also a fellow public access producer, to come up here because I was so impressed with the wording on the postcard. Because as I started to get interested in Rick Simpson's story and had him call into my show a few times, I realized there's a Holocaust going on every single day in every cancer ward throughout the country. So here we are in Albany. Empty in there. Here we are, the Armory. Access television show in Manhattan, and I came up here to Albany to learn what's going on. Do you want to tell me what you're all about?
We're actually here to push the promotion of cannabis. It's not what everyone thinks it is. It's a healing product. It can be used to help the economy in the future, and that's what we need. I think we all need to push for that.
Do you know about Rick Simpson in Canada?
I don't.
The hemp oil cure for cancer? It's called Run from the Cure. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
No kidding. So tell me about your sign.
My sign is just a pretty unique orange sign, you know, just trying to get the attention. Nothing really special about that. But for the cannabis, you know, I agree with him. There's a lot of things that, you know, people view it as a drug. In my eyes, it's a plant more than anything else. Drug is a term slapped on it just because it's illegal. And there's a lot more uses than just getting high.
That it actually reduces the growth of tumors as well, like cancerous tumors.
Those studies were done in 1974 at the University of Virginia. So two growing industries are healthcare and prisons.
Yep.
Can you explain your sign? I wanted to ask you if you knew about the cancer cure.
If I knew about the cancer cure?
Rick Simpson's hemp oil in Canada?
No, I was not aware of that.
It's got like about 1 million hits on YouTube called Run from the Cure.
Really?
It's called Run from the Cure.
I think that's amazing.
But
yes, it definitely helps. Studies have shown it and stuff.
Do you think it's addictive?
No, I don't believe it's addictive.
No.
I think that you choose your own addictions, basically. So one person may be addicted to it, but another person may not. And I don't believe like any of the other illegal drugs that's as addicting or addicting even that you can say. If it helps you, I think that's okay to do. If it makes you feel better, and if you're in a lot of pain and that's what takes your pain away and it has no other effects, then I think that's great and you should do that.
Do you want to say your age?
I'm 17.
And where do you go to school?
I go to school at Colony High in Albany, New York.
Do your parents know you're here?
Yes, they do.
And are they supporting what you're doing?
They're supporting the fact that I'm standing up for something I believe in, no matter what the cause is.
So it's all about freedom, isn't it?
It is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's take a look at the sign. It's a piece of art here. Fiber, okay. Paper, fuel, jobs, health, medicine. Did you know that with fiber, I heard if THC is out of it, the fiber's not as strong, that the THC protects it from the sun?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so there's a man named Ronnie Smith running for sheriff in Kentucky, and he wants to have every farmer grow as much as they want and pay their county taxes with hemp, and the surplus will be given to people who are sick, because he's cured about 150 people with things like Parkinson's and cancer, although Rick Simpson has done thousands.
My mother has MS.
Really?
And she smokes because it helps her move.
Well, look into Run from the Cure on the internet, because Rick Simpson got the Cannabis Cup Award.
I heard of that. I just never looked into it.
If you can score some oil for her, she might be enjoying more than just pain relief. How do we do it? A lot of people are afraid to stand up.
I'm not.
Where are you on the spectrum of things? Are you for regulation or just complete end of prohibition so that anybody can grow any plant they want in their planter box in New York City?
Complete end of prohibition.
Sometimes when they say taxes will be helped, then you need to regulate it, and then the regulators might get an upper hand. So in California, they're saying not to make it legal. A lot of people are worried that the big monopoly growers are going to come in.
We always managed to grow our own anyway and get away with it, so
All right.
why not now?
Thank you.
Yep.
And I came up to Albany just to see what you all are up to.
Having a rally for cannabis legalization today. There's going to be another one tomorrow in New York City. So
Now,
it's the annual rally that goes on every year.
So where are you on the spectrum? Full legalization so anybody can grow a plant, or regulation so it can be taxed?
Well, I say if we're going to tax it, we should use the tax money to pay reparations to all the people who have been unconstitutionally incarcerated all these years.
So we'll empty the prisons pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I heard you're a famous person.
I run the Woodstock and founded the Woodstock Museum actually we're in Saugerties, New York, which of course was really never officially outlawed. If they actually go into the agenda, and you made it into the agenda for the legislator, they would find no way that they eliminated the American hemp plant.
Nope.
They introduced the marijuana as a narcotic and came up with the term from Mexico. So if we got it on the agenda, we could make that law null and void. The American hemp plant also cannot be patented by the pharmaceutical companies.
That's kind of a problem, huh?
The pharmaceutical companies can't put a patent on any plant.
What about the medicinal effect in the oil, like Rick Simpson in Canada, Run from the Cure? Are you familiar
Yes,
with that?
we're very familiar. We showed it at our Woodstock Museum Free Film Festival, which we have again this year, and we do in Woodstock every Labor Day weekend. He's a man who obviously didn't look like he ever smoked a joint in his life. He also knew people who had cancer. He himself cured himself. There's no doubt that the hemp oil, and there's many other natural medicines that we also are not allowed to have. These are living exhibit.
Okay, I'll ask her.
We are a living museum. We're chartered like that, and Abigail is part of our living exhibit.
Okay.
We'll also be at Clearwater Festival, which is the third week in June, with a booth, and it'll say free marijuana on it.
No, in 1974, one of the reasons that New York State was able to decriminalize cannabis in New York State in 1977 was because in 1974, 3 years earlier, there was a nationwide report that it had shrunk tumors in animals. And so this was really an amazing discovery, but because Nixon had begun his war on drugs, he did not want to hear anything about marijuana, as he saw it, curing cancer. They were using the medicines, using cannabis as a medicine for a variety of things. Spasms as an antispasmatic. It's been used as a medicine, virtually a panacea, for thousands of years. And so it was just wiped out. The pharmaceutical industry has been booming ever since, and all of the drugs are toxic. They are the real drug pushers. All of their advertisements tell how all the toxic side effects from their substances, and yet this is a substance that has no toxic side effects. It's a safe herbal remedy you can grow in your own backyard, which would deplete about 80 to 90% of the pharmaceutical industry's profits, so I can understand why there's a battle against it.
It seems as though you're saying in '77 it became legal in the state of New York because of these University of Virginia studies done in '74?
Gottfried, who is now the health chair and saying it's the most dangerous substance, in 1977 was the Coach chair, and he's the one that said that it wasn't dangerous. So since that was one of the findings were that also there was a study, the most in-depth study done by the Nixon administration when they put marijuana on Schedule 1, the cannabis hemp plant. They had to study, they set up a commission to study the effects of cannabis, and essentially the 2-year study came back with results that Nixon did not like, and he actually ignored those results. But the results from Schaefer, the head of the commission, who was a tough-on-crime governor of Pennsylvania, said that it was not dangerous. There should not be any criminal sanctions for it, and at most maybe it's a problem in a societal way, and that treatment or whatever that someone might imagine is needed should be done on a civil manner, not in a criminal manner.
Have you looked into new economic models? Because this seems to be an economic
Absolutely.
problem.
We have a lot of information about that.
What kind of, because I'm a great fan of Louis Kelso, binary economics and distributing capital ownership. And there was a task force that was studying this, and Ronald Reagan addressed them in 1985. And it was very heartening that if you allowed regular citizens to have access to corporate ownership, so they would have a stake in a business, you would utilize unutilized capacity. But what was interesting is Nixon himself, Reagan himself, when he's addressing them, has a great big skin cancer on his nose. And he's talking about his suntan, and he sort of laughs it off in that kind of, you know, Reagan-esque way.
Right.
But having,
also Alzheimer's.
well, that's later. But I'm saying I've now seen the photographs coming from Christian Lorette, because he's getting scads of pictures coming in, and you see the skin cancer healing up. So if Reagan was such a villain, he's clearly a victim of ignorance too.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Are you working with Rick Simpson or with Christian Lorette? Or?
Well, we've been in communication with them for the 2 years that we've been lobbying on this issue. Yes, we found out about 4 months after we started up here in Albany to change this law. We discovered Rick Simpson's information. We're fascinated by what happened up in Canada.
If you tax pot, that means I can't grow it in my flower box?
Yes, you can, for personal use. In the same way that it's legal to make your own beer and wine as long as you don't sell it, but you need a special license to sell it.
Now,
That'd be a similar restriction.
What if I had cancer and I want to, you know, a cure's worth, which requires a pound, and I have to render it to the coils? Would I be able to grow a pound without a
You might, under those circumstances, you probably would qualify for a special medical marijuana exemption. Go for some common altruistic purpose, like healthcare.
Let me give you a really interesting solution. Ronnie Smith is running for sheriff in Gallatin County, Kentucky, where it grows very easily, and they also have very high incidence of cancer. He wants to let the farmers grow as much as they want, and they pay their county taxes with hemp, and then the surplus can be given to people who are very sick.
That sounds good if it works, sure, certainly.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you.
Could I represent the hood?
What's that?
Okay, could I represent the hood about this marijuana thing?
Yeah, represent the hood.
All right then. You know, my name
What do you
is
think of
Talib.
all these hippies here?
My name is Talib.
Am I hippie? Hang on. What do you think? This is Paula, Gloria with Nuria.
With
farther
Talib,
down the rabbit hole, and I came up to Albany, and they're making a march now, which I guess you're not going to join us with. I got to get going, but come on with me and talk while we're going. Okay.
This country was built on bootleg, like the Kennedys and all that. They bootleg liquor, okay? So how you gonna take alcohol, you know, liquor stores and all that, and justify it, and then you want to get particular? We don't say drugs of choice.
What do we say?
See, drugs of choice is some like clinical shit that, you know, people talk about. You know, conditions and DSS and all them, okay?
Do you think they did in Africa?
I don't know.
I think they do in Jamaica.
Yeah, they do it in Jamaica.
See you later. Bye.
Stop the arrests! Cures, not wars!
In New York?
A lot of marches, yeah. 1982, the big no nukes rally, but it wasn't just about no nukes, it was about every possible
Hey, you want me to
cause.
blow your mind here?
Walking by the UN.
This is radioactive, what I'm wearing.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out we need radioactivity.
Everything's radioactive.
Yeah.
With too much of anything. I mean, you know, I don't smoke much pot myself.
Nobody's been killed from pot. No
Well,
matter how
you
much
can't,
you take, you can't overdose.
You know, it can get to your lungs. I have to disagree a little bit.
You should look at the research.
If you smoke too much, if you do too much of anything, it's no good. That's the whole.
Puts it into
we've
a
shown it at our
vaporizer?
Woodstock Museum Film Festival.
Right.
And we give it out to our tourists whenever somebody mentions the
Oh,
cancer
really?
or illness or
You
whatever.
give out the documentary?
Yeah, we're at Woodstock Museum. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Sure we do.
Wish you could give out the oil. Marijuana to
There
make
was
the
a local
oil.
guy in Woodstock that was getting the oil, and then the grower got busted, and then the guy died.
I heard the guy died.
And he was doing very well with it, thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Some more objective clinical proof, but that film is so convincing. No ulterior motives whatsoever.
Yeah.
We could see.
Yeah,
The filmmaker that made the movies are real sweet fellow.
Christian Lorette.
Yeah. Good man. Yeah.
What do you think of all of this?
Huh?
What do you think of all of this?
I don't go to it.
You like marijuana or you don't like it?
I don't. I used to sell it, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I bet you I could tell you something that might convince you different. If you have high concentrations, it'll cure cancer.
Yeah, I know.
You don't care? And this is the Capitol building, huh?
Yes.
The great state of New York.
Used to be great. Now it's filled with thugs.
Really? I bet it's always been
The
filled
thugs,
with thugs.
Paula.
We just have to live with the thugs. How come all of those fences are there? This is such a beautiful Capitol building, and it makes you feel sort of proud to be a New Yorker, right? But then you can't get in.
It is rather cute to see the German and Asian tourists photograph each other on the steps, but they can't really do that anymore because of the fear. Because there's a lot of angry people in the state.
And they would what? Come terrorizing the Capitol building? They'd come up by the hordes?
as much as these kids. I'm telling you right now, as much as these kids.
It's just such a bummer to look at those fences.
Quite honestly, I did 18 years at the state, and I would have no problem losing a week. I wouldn't unpaid day a week. I really wouldn't, mind that. But my feeling is the people that I've worked with, you see, this area is surrounded by hamlets, small towns. And these people are very much like Tea Party people. They're reactionary. They're very family oriented. I don't want to seem too insulting to them. I mean, they're solid, salt of the earth kind of people. It's not against people that buy double wides, trailers. But they will buy their double wide, and they will plant it a mile away from their parents, and they will have 6 kids. They can have the large family, and they voted for Reagan, and they voted for both Bushes. This is when all this
Reagan was pretty innocent too. He had skin cancer while he was making a speech, and if he knew the University of Virginia studies, he wouldn't have had that skin
He wouldn't
cancer.
have read that. He would have thrown it off the desk.
I don't know. If you had skin
He
cancer,
would have
I
had
think
one of his rare.
People grab for anything they can.
Didn't he do anti-drug PSAs?
Well, I think
he did PSAs for everything, didn't he?
Was that Nixon?
Nixon's the one, and he got the report back that said that there was no real problem with marijuana. He threw it right in the garbage.
How can it be wrong when it feels so
Isn't it
right?
great to be
That's
our
what
age?
Elvis said.
Salt of the earth is not a very good term at all.
Is that biblical?
It meant that somebody had enough money to put salt by their neighbor where they can never plant again. It means that you're basically a corrupt person who now made sure that that earth is never going to produce produce again. It's one of those expressions we really shouldn't be using unless we understand what that's all about.
For your county. Do not be deceived. Let's get the people out of jail. Let's stop putting people in jail. Let's back each other up. If you have an opportunity to sit on a jury, you must take that opportunity. It takes only one person. It only takes one person to acquit someone for cannabis cultivation or cannabis possession or sales or consumption or having it open in public and all the other things that Dick Gottfried said in 1977 are not harmful acts. We don't even need to prove that it's a religious issue. It is a religious issue. This plant was made for us. It is a medicinal issue. There's no other kind of cannabis but medicinal. We have an awesome guy right now who's going to entertain you for a few minutes while I calm down and work myself up again. This is RT.
I'm called the legendary RT.
I'm going good. Farther down the rabbit hole. What's ailing, healing America?
Boy, this mic and that because I need this for the guitar. You know what I'm saying?
So that's Frank Craven there in the back.
I need the boom.
What's ailing, healing America? And here I am in Albany. And we're listening. Some people are going to go in and talk to the governor, or try to,
We'll be right with you.
after we're entertained.
I do have a bunch of songs. I mean, there's only about 4 or 5, but one of them was written by Joe Bones himself. And bodies stacked by the side of the door. If no one looks, is there still a war? A long shadow from a chicken's paw tells us all to shop some more. Well, I know if I be dead, as soon as I could find my head, I'd ask it why I did die for a goddamn lie. I'd fight to save the whole country, but they told me I'd be saving humanity. I shot the sheriff. They're trying to track me down, bring me in guilty for the life of the deputy. Oh, I never shot me no deputy. So, with that in mind, I was going to write like a hymn, and I was thinking, if I used all the Persian words, you'd all go, duh. If I used Persian allusions, you might go, duh, duh. And so I went back to sleep that night. But I woke up again saying, well, why don't I translate the whole thing into Americanisms? And that just popped into my head, this song. It's called The Mary J. Let me tell you this story. It's about a tour boat. You know, one of them boats that maybe takes you around Manhattan Island. You know, maybe it stops somewhere in the lower bay and lets you eat a hamburger, and they call it a dinner cruise. Or they let you out on deck and you and your loveliest stand there by the rail, and they call it a sunset cruise. So you and your lovely, you pay your money, you get on board, and there you are watching the buildings, they're all collapsing away in the distance. Well, welcome aboard. You know, when you're in Boston, you gotta try the beans. And when you're in Detroit City, you gotta be mean. If you want to get to heaven, try this on the Mary J. Oh, she's a fine old ship. She never lost her way. Gotta try the scene. And when you're in San Francisco, don't forget your dream. But if you want to get to heaven, try us on the Mary Jane. Oh, she's a fine old ship. She never lost her way. Let me know the change. And I wonder, still I wonder, who stopped the rain. Everybody, it's Johnny Trudeau and Abigail Stormwell. Thank you. At least somebody's got the balls to pick up this crusade. Thank you.
We have time for baby steps. We don't want baby steps. We want a giant leap for mankind and man and womankind. Amen? Don't want to leave the girls out. They might get mad at me. Anyway, we wrote a little song. It's on our website. Our website is newyorkcamp.org. That's nycamp.org. And anyway, this is a song called We Want Hemp. Fashion, but I like to grow my own.
Clothing, food, and shelter, it's what makes me feel at home. Well, I don't like to go shopping except in my own hometown, where my neighbors and the farmers keep me stocked up all year round. Well, we want hemp for clothing, we want hemp for food, we want hemp for medicine, for me and for you. When will we realize it? If we legalize it, we will have a green economy. Well, it is the finest medicine that God has ever made. Sometimes I like to roll one up at the end of a very long day. Well, they say that it cures cancer and all kinds of disease. Diabetes, Alzheimer's, arthritis in my knees. Let's see. Yeah, the U.S. Constitution and Betsy Ross's cloth, and even the original Levi jeans was made from the cannabis stalks. So we've come up here to Albany to find out why we can't grow or eat or smoke or wear the wonderful cannabis plant. Yes, we want hemp for clothing, we want hemp for food, we want hemp for medicine, for me and for you. When will we realize it? When we legalize it, we will have a green economy. Yes, we want hemp for clothing, we want hemp for fuel, we want hemp for victory, for me and for you. When will we realize it? When we legalize it, we will have a green economy. And we sure could use a green economy. Small, but you know what? We're determined. And we're not taking no for an answer. And I know why a lot of people aren't showing up here, because it's scary. There's a lot of people being threatened. There's a lot of stigma attached to this plant. Have you even noticed that all of the information is all about marijuana? And all of the videos and the documentaries and the medical marijuana bills, they're all getting all this play. But you may not be aware of it, but there are farmers across the United States in 16 states that have passed hemp farming bills, and they intend to plant this spring. So they are leading the hemp movement right now. That's right, they are way ahead of the marijuana movement, and we're helping that effort because New York Camp will support any organization that is for home cultivation. Home cultivation. That's what was taken away from us. This is a constitutional assembly. That plant was given to us by our Creator, and no one has a lawful right to take it away. And the fact of the matter is, they wrote the law in such a way that you have to be in unlawful possession of a cannabis plant. Well, if you grew it, it's yours, and therefore you cannot be in unlawful possession of your cannabis plant. And that's a fact. That is a lawful fact. And so it's a bunch of jive that they have created to keep this plant from you by keeping it on Schedule 1. This is a fraud. I have filed a federal case against the state of New York and certain members of the legislature for continually abusing their privileges, not our privileges, their privileges, to make laws. And they have made laws against us and not for us. And therefore, they're the ones that need to be arrested. And we've got the Attorney General, and I know they don't take us seriously, but I want to tell you something. I have no intention of giving up until I get what I want, and I want to plant my seed this spring. Cowards got no freedom. Cowards got no freedom, can't comprehend our liberty. There's a whole lot worse thing than dying. That's no chance of being free. The coward mocks the war we fight and cannot understand why life is less important than our freedom in this land. Cowards got no freedom, can't comprehend our liberty. There's a whole lot worse thing than dying, that's no chance of being free. If you wake up every morning to a lie that's worse than death, well, Jesus set the standard when he died for you and me, to tell us nothing more than this: the truth shall set you free. Oh, I've been told they'll get you too, you'll get the same as him. Be careful what you do and say, but I say back to them, you know a coward's got no freedom, can't comprehend our liberty. There's a whole lot worse thing than dying, that's no chance of being free.
We actually spent some time down in Mexico, and there's a whole lot of families in Mexico that have pictures of Pancho Villa up on their wall. They're all relatives. So it was pretty amazing to see, you know, they had pictures of fat cows in America. And we don't have too many fat cows right now, except with, you know, the people that are real rich. And the fact of the matter is, how many farms do we have in America? And they should all be growing cannabis hemp. So here we are starving, and our economy is shot, and the diseases that are attacking us, and the weather, and all these things that are happening, so many of these issues would actually be solved by the cannabis hemp plant. And so we have a lot of information over here. We are NewYorkCamp.org. We're a new organization. We have formed for the specific purpose of restoring full rights to the citizens of New York this year. Governor Patterson has it within his power, because the laws that bind us and keep us from growing cannabis hemp are unlawful, unfounded, lies, just a bunch of bullcrap. So there is no reason for us to be getting arrested, having our children taken, and having our property taken and destroyed, having our lives ruined. What is the purpose in this? Billions of dollars are being spent to throw us in jail and keep us there, and to keep our children in foster care. What is going on here? Who's gaining? The people of New York State are not gaining from the cannabis hemp laws. We are being robbed and pillaged. Still, to this day, there are people in New York City, for instance, 100 people a day are being stopped and frisked and having their things taken from them and arrested and put in jail for doing something that causes little or no harm. This is what Gottfried said in 1977. This is 2010, and now the same man has written a bill that says that cannabis hemp is the most dangerous substance in New York State. According to the Health Senate chair, he said that it's more dangerous than opium according to these regulations that they are passing. This is not a good bill. This is a very bad bill. They're telling you they're going to give it to the seriously ill. But do you know that they're actually going to be policing the seriously ill? If they cared about the seriously ill, they would let them plant it in their own backyard. Who's kidding who? Who is kidding who? These are lies and deception. This is like throwing crumbs to a hungry child. We need the whole plant back. The whole plant was taken away. We want it all back now, not in bits and pieces, not GMO'd, not in pill form. We want farms, not pharmacists. We want real farm assistance. We know what we want. There is a lot of deceiving information out there. Lies, lies, lies. But Martin Luther King said, a lie cannot live. Yeah. It is going to demise
die here, this week, next month, no later than planting season, next month. There's actually a movement to plant seed all throughout the United States by farmers, not hippies, farmers. What are the hippies doing? They're hiding in the bushes. What are the farmers doing? They're going to the DEA in Washington, D.C. with their shovels, and they are planting hemp seed in their lawn. That's what the farmers did. They got guts. Thank God for the farmers. They're the ones that got ripped off in 1937. Thank God they're taking back what's been robbed from them. We're defending the New York farmers right here. Do you know how much farmland there is in Schenectady, New York? As far as the eye can see. Is there anything growing on it? No. There should be farms growing hemp in New York State this year. We have cards over here. I'm not going to be here long. We've got cards over here that were given to us by Hemp Industry Association, who has a nationwide movement to put the seed in the ground this spring. We are the lead volunteer in New York State to assist that movement. We are totally pro-hemp. We are totally pro-marijuana. We are totally pro-freedom. We are here for you. We need to back each other up. Stop getting in your own little clinch. You know, farmers need your backup. The growers need our backup. Everybody needs to back each other up to get this plant back where it belongs, in our gardens. In our gardens, out in the open, not in the woods. Oh, I want you to know that we have a raffle going over here. We have some really cool stuff that we put together for that raffle. Hemp products, you know, and we don't really have that many raffle tickets, so you're definitely going to win something. So if somebody wants to buy a raffle ticket for $1 or 7 of them for $5, it really helps our effort. We do not have any big funding. We are totally grassroots. We are on our knees economically and financially. But we are definitely here, and we're just trying to make our statement. Even if we have to crawl here on our knees or hitchhike to town, we will be here next Wednesday to continue this effort. We hope that more of you will tell your friends that we want to go in. We want to get an audience with the governor. That is our goal. And every time we come here, and we will be going in there in a few minutes. So, do we have a raffle? If there's nobody buying tickets, let me draw one. Oh, first item. Pull one up. This one belongs to Joe Barton. This is fun. I love giving stuff away. I'd love to be growing cannabis hemp everywhere so we can give more of that away. That's the goal here. Yes. Good stuff. Oh boy, this is okay. This is 2 CDs. One of mine, and one of Rick Simpson's. Mine has the hemp song on it. This is Rick Simpson, the video that shows you how to kill your cancer with the cannabis hemp plant. Tells you how to make the oil, tells you all the things that it does for you. This is Lipton. Lipton, look what you got.
Both of which we paid for and sponsoring, helping them. I want to give this one away to somebody else, since we really backed her on the recording, and we also got the Rick Simpson tape. For those of you who don't know us, we're the Woodstock Museum. We are chartered as an educational institution out of Albany. I wrote to the head of the Board of Regents a year ago, said we were working towards the legalization of marijuana, and he said, how ambitious. But that was positive, and we are making progress, and I will see in my lifetime it legalized.
Video, CD, all right. All right, we're going to do one more song, and then we got a speaker that I'm going to introduce who is actually facing some jail time under the cannabis laws of New York State. He was arrested for growing the plant. He was actually using the medicine. He had some of the medicine from the plant, giving it to people. Someone else made it for him, and he was actually giving it freely to someone to kill their cancer.
And what ended up happening was this guy had a cancer in his throat, and it was shrinking from taking the medicine. And we were going to use him as a test case to bring to the governor when he got cured, because he was using no other medicine. And the pulsating, grabbing feeling in his throat stopped. The tumor was shrinking, his voice was clearing so he could speak. It was amazing. Then when Joe got busted, the medicine was taken, and the guy ended up dying. It was the most horrible thing that ever happened. So that's a pretty horrible story, but this is real. This really did happen, and this is the kind of thing that this just cannot happen. There are children getting their arms and legs cut off in New York State, and cannabis is actually the cure for cancer. If you do not believe it, you do your own research. This is information that they had in 1974 when they decriminalized marijuana in this state. If it was a dangerous substance, how did they decriminalize it? Think about it. They had the evidence that it wasn't dangerous. And now, because of politics, it's becoming the most dangerous substance again. And they will never allow us to grow the cannabis plant. Once they lock this medical marijuana bill into place, we will never have access to the cannabis plant. They will turn it into a pill, or they will GMO it, or they will sell it back to you in a package store with addicting things in it so that you will finally be addicted to whatever it is they call marijuana. And I'm saying enough of that. This has got to stop. And I'm going to let him tell you about how he feels about growing the most healing, beneficial, beautiful, wonderful plant that God ever created on this green earth, and to have it taken away. How does that feel, Joe Barton?
Hey everybody. We all know about growing. Actually, I want to talk about, you know how many of our brothers and sisters are sitting in cages right now? That's what we should be pushing for. Everybody in all the movement, the medical movement, the farmers, if we stop locking people up, it's free. It's time to start talking to politicians. All of you people out there should be calling politicians, writing politicians, saying, stop locking people up. This is a harmless thing. It's costing taxpayers money, and they're taking children away from people for smoking marijuana. People are losing jobs because they're turning in dirty urines. This is a war of the government against us. And it's time to get our brothers and sisters out of jail. Once we stop putting them in, then we're free. Until we get them out and the threat isn't hanging over our heads, none of us are free. Every one of you, they can kick in their door. They've kicked in my door. I was growing marijuana. I was supplying medical marijuana patients. I was smoking a lot myself. I say it's my religious belief. For 5,000 years, people have smoked marijuana for religious purposes, to connect with their souls so they can connect with God. This is a God-given right that government has no right to take away from us. But the most important thing right now is our brothers and sisters are in jail. I want to tell all of you, get off your asses and do something to get them out. Or you're next. Thank you.
I pestered my good friend Frank Craven, who's also a fellow public access producer, to come up here because I was so impressed with the wording on the postcard. Because as I started to get interested in Rick Simpson's story and had him call into my show a few times, I realized there's a Holocaust going on every single day in every cancer ward throughout the country. I mean, this is something, at first you're so happy because you hear cancer has a cure. And it makes sense, and you look at the pictures and you see how it heals, and you hear about how it, you know, the doctors are saying it's coming, it's like healing from the inside out. You can eat it, you saturate your body with it. I was told by Christian Lorette, the producer of Run from the Cure, that if you're acclimated, if you're a smoker, you can probably get the medicine in your body quicker. But for somebody like me who hasn't smoked since I was at the University of California at Santa Cruz, I would probably have to take it a little slower in order to function. If you take too much, it's not like radiation or chemotherapy that has horrible side effects. The worst thing that can happen is you can't lift your head from the pillow. And that means you need to sleep because you're really sick. So you get about 3 months worth of this medicine in your body, it goes through, it gets rid of the cancer. And there's other things too. You can see a U.S. patent. And the U.S. patent was done by 3 inventors, one of them that I saw. I was listening to a radio show given by a doctor in Mendocino County to another doctor. And he said that this patent, given by 3 scientists, one of them is a Nobel Prize winner. Why would they give away a patent? It must be that they want the American people to have this knowledge, not for it to be in the hands of a pharmaceutical. So this doctor said that he learned more about antioxidants reading this patent than he did all through medical school. And it's like, wow. So 2 heroic people came on to my show. They had prepared the oil by going to California, even though they couldn't get it legally because they weren't residents. They were able to get it more cheaply. And they had wonderful glowing skin. I've seen people, you know, who've taken the oil. It's magnificent. So I just want to say I'm very impressed with this group, and I hope that you come out onto my show. I'm going to be going live in the summer so we can see how Manhattan, how 600,000 households are receiving this. Let's take call-ins. So thank you.
A few others. We had this dynamite booth at the Clearwater Festival last year with their incredible banner that said "Free Marijuana," in little letters, prisoners, which was very important, but it kind of attracted people, everyone to the booth. And that was the first time Clearwater Festival, Pete Seeger and company, who have done all these environmental actions and political actions, have ever had anything to do with the legalization issue. And as Woodstock Museum, we took Abigail and her family and all the artwork, and we made a booth out of it. It said "Free Marijuana." Everybody just came right up to it, and they had to kind of get by that little banner and sneak into the booth to see what was inside. What could that be, you know? Well, we had to be cool, but at the same time, this was an activist booth. You know, they charged thousands for their more commercial booths on that festival, and we pay like $175 to cover their expenses or whatever, and on our behalf, and they want us back again. So
That's right, guys. That's right, man. You guys are rock stars. All right, you going in the building?
Trying to get our point across here, and we have to go in there and show our balls.
You walk by, you're like, oh, I wonder what this is.
war drugs, set all marijuana prisoners free and clear their records, stop all arrests of marijuana growers and consumers, return the children who have been taken from their homes, end marijuana testing probationers, protect New York State citizens from federal charges for growing or using marijuana or industrial hemp, allow marijuana medical research in New York, allow farming and manufacturing of hemp products. Marijuana is healthy food and safe medicine. Hemp seed prevents heart disease and diabetes. Cannabis resin, hash oil, gets rid of cancer cells. People should be allowed to grow their own. Hospitals should stock up on cannabis medicine. Good thing to have pictures.
The song is called Jungle Girl.
Tom LaFon on the guitar, 19 years old.
Thank you, Joe. Joe's facing some time in prison himself, so he's got a case going down in Ulster County. His trial is on June 28th. He is the only person right now in New York State facing these charges for cannabis possession over 10 pounds, and he is the only one not facing it, but he's the only one fighting it. He is not plea bargaining. He's actually put together an amazing case that shows that that state has no standing whatsoever to throw him in jail or anyone else. So if you can give him any support, if anybody's interested in getting any more information about his trial or wanting to get a ride down or where it is and be a participant, we are working to change the laws here in New York State. And he is one of the participants in the effort to overturn the laws. We're hitting them from every angle that we know of to weaken them because the law is on our side. So basically, my name is Abigail Storm. I'm the executive director of NY Camp. I just wanted to say we took a trip into the Capitol building a little while ago. We said we would. We wrote a letter to the governor. We let him know that we'd be coming in. He did get called away on a business trip. He was in Canada today. So basically, we left a message. We will be back on Wednesday. We did expect this. We want to build momentum. We are actually hoping to have more people come back on next Wednesday. We're going to be here from 12 to 6. We would love to have wonderful people like Dirty Paris, people like them come and give us their beautiful tunes, give that good energy. And everybody give a big hand for Dirty Paris here. Yeah, look at everybody so cruised, man. They don't even know I'm talking up here. They're having such a good time. Look at that peaceful, loving, wonderful stuff. All right, that's what this is all about. Cannabis draws that good energy, lots of peace. That's what happened last year. We had a much bigger turnout last year. It was right before the Grateful Dead concert. So I'd say we're doing pretty good right now. So anyway, guys, next Wednesday. And we're going to go into the Capitol building next Wednesday like we did today. I just want to say, if you do come back, when we go into the building, you have as much as the least amount of metal, anything metal, take it out of your pockets before we go in. We were held up at the door quite a while. So, but it was a great group. It was very effective. And I think we may be able to get an audience with the governor next Wednesday. So we're praying for that. Anybody wants to participate and help back that up, make that happen, we hope you'll be here. This is a total grassroots organization. We don't have any major funding. We will not be having any fundraising at the Playboy Club like some organizations we know. But the point is that we are doing the best that we can. And it's a lot of good energy, and we know what to do. So we're highly focused. We don't really necessarily need money to bring action against the state of New York. We have already some actions against the state of New York right now. We've won in the federal court, federal appellate division in New York City, challenging the standing of the state to continue criminal sanctions against people of New York for cultivating cannabis hemp. We are looking to cultivate cannabis hemp. We don't want the state doing it for us. We don't want them to sell it to us. We don't want them to tax and regulate it. We don't want them to tell us what we can put in our body. We're not, what if we don't use doctors? I'm a born-again Christian. I go to God for my prayer. He gave me a healing plant. I don't need doctors. I respect those who do go to doctors. Maybe they don't have the faith to heal themselves. But this plant is an amazing plant that God gave us for the purpose of healing the nations, healing ourselves spiritually, physically, emotionally. It's a blessing. It brings forth the fruits of the Spirit. You know, so this is a really wonderful plant. So we're definitely here to back it up all the way, push it all the way to ending the prohibition on cannabis hemp. Everybody here for that? Yeah. Yeah.
And call the governor, tell your friends, stay on it, become active. We've got to get people out of jail. There's too many people going to jail. They're busting people for nonsense, and they're giving big sentences. If you plead guilty and say, well, I'll just take probation. If you take probation, you've given up your rights to a trial. If you plead dirty, you go to jail. It's a trick. Everyone should demand a jury trial. If every marijuana smoker demanded a jury trial, we'd end prohibition because they couldn't afford to keep doing it.
I just wanted everybody to hear testimony. This is a young man that I just met today, and he just has an amazing testimony about cannabis hemp. Sean Ellis.
I was diagnosed with an eye disease called uveitis, which pretty much is inflammation builds up in the eye, hurts to the UV rays from the sunlight and everything like that. I had it at such a young age, 12, since I was like 12, and so on. They couldn't understand why I had it, how I had it, you know, and everything like that. I was traveling to Boston, you know, every 2 weeks to see a specialist. It got worse. I almost started losing my vision. We had to go into surgery and everything like that. What happened was I couldn't make it out to Boston to get my prescriptions for my medicine. My eyes turned, you know, bloodshot red. I couldn't get it open. It started swelling on me. I went and bought some, smoked a little weed, and woke up in the morning. The swelling was gone, the inflammation was gone. And I've been doing that so on. I just recently was checked at the hospital. They told me that all the scarring, all the bleeding, and everything at the back of my eye has healed.
Dirty Paris.
This song is about legalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
Thank you.